Hi, my name is Amber, and this is my husband Josh, and we're going to be doing the Judge a Book by its Cover challenge.
God help me.
Now in this challenge, I'm going to hand Josh a book, and he is going to describe what the plot is based just on what he sees from the cover. Now whichever he gets right, he's going to get a point, and all that he gets wrong, I am going to get a point, and we're going to see who wins by the end. It sure gets away from me to win something. So.
Like we don't have enough of that in our marriage.
Haha. You don't get to look at the back. You don't get to open them. You get the front, and I will let you have a spine. That's about it.
Can I sniff the book?
No. That would give away way too much. The first book I have chosen is Fallen by Lauren Kate.
Okay. So we have a Hot Topic employee, some birds. Oh, the blurb. So sexy and fascinating and scary. I loved it. Okay. Is she an angel who has fallen from heaven because she obviously did something worth falling out of heaven?
You're going on the right path, yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna use the Little Mermaid method, and she falls in love with a human, but that's forbidden.
Well, what you just said was a no. She ends up at a school.
Okay, so she's a fallen angel.
You don't find that out for a while. But she ends up at a school because of problems she had in the past. And she ends up meeting a guy, and they have a horrible first meeting, and then they end up kind of connected, and she can't understand why she keeps being drawn to him. She finds out that she's constantly been reborn. Every time that she finds him, they fall in love, and at a certain point she dies, gets reborn, and he has to wait throughout 17 years to find her somewhere else. And he's tried to stay away from her, but he ends up finding her again just because of fate. She has to figure out her past without dying. They're both angels who fell in love and fell from heaven. And
just like a woman to keep a guy waiting. Am I right? Am I right?
I'm going to punch you. You're not allowed to make those jokes in my videos. The next book is Reboot by Amy Tintira.
I've got a barcode. Mm-hmm. If I scan this barcode, does it actually bring up anything? Have you tried?
No, it's literally just for...
I really just want it to be like a can of beans from Walmart. Mm-mm. Okay, so we've got numbers. So 5 years ago I died, and then 178 minutes later I woke up. Mm-hmm. So she's been alive for 4 years, 355 days, and like however many minutes less than that is.
No.
Gotcha. Okay, so I can either go two ways with this. I can either go the robot method based upon the name Reboot, or I can go the zombie method, or a mixture of the two, the zombie robot method.
You have to tell me the plot.
I'm gonna go with she dies, and then she reboots back to life, and then falls in love, the end.
You gotta give me more than that. You gotta tell me, like, what's the plot of the story? Like, what is happening in this world?
I devoured this book.
Don't eat my book. I've already jacked up the sequel.
She devoured this. I can eat it too. She's an escaped test subject for some lab in a post-apocalyptic world, and she's a robot, and she died, and she came back.
Is this after she was a test subject? She died and she came back?
Well, yeah. Otherwise, she would just be a regular human and not a robot. Don't be dumb.
Okay.
And she has to save the world from the other robots because she's half human and has feelings. And there's a boy in there too, because why not?
That's what you're going with?
That's what I'm going with.
Okay. Well, the robot zombie idea is pretty close, but pretty much everything else is wrong. Dang it. There were only a few things that
I now have a perfect story to write.
Yes. Reboot is about a girl named Rin in this world where a virus is basically fallen over. If you die, you have the chance to come back after a certain amount of time, and it varies between people.
Hers was 178.
Yes, normally you come back really quickly.
That's like 3 hours.
If you come back decently fast, like most people have like 30 minutes or an hour, you still have human emotions, but you're more powerful, you're less fragile, and you are part of this community that is bringing people together to teach them how to fight and train. And she ends up being the person who has stayed dead the longest. And the longer that you are dead, you have less human emotion. Mm-hmm. So she is basically like a robot.
She's a robot.
Because she doesn't have human emotion. She doesn't feel for things as much. She ends up finding a boy in this community. He was gone for a very, very short amount of time, probably the least.
Like
so he has
30 seconds.
He has the most human
like he
emotion.
tripped and fell down and then got back up.
Pretty much.
He's like, oh no, I died.
Or he has the most amount of human emotion, and he's also weak compared to everybody else. So she has to train him, and they have to figure things out. So that's a point for me.
Dang
You have 0.5 because of the angel thing. That's all you're getting.
I got zombie robot.
Yeah, it's not really zombie. It's more zombie than it is robot, but it's kind of robot.
Then it should be called Relived, not Reboot.
Okay. You done?
Continue.
Okay. The next book is going to be To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han.
You about hit me in the face with that.
You deserved it.
So, we have Sharpie, a New York Times bestseller, Jenny Han, author of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Mm-hmm. That doesn't give me any information about this book at all. So we got a cover of a girl on a bed who was holding the pen in the wrong hand.
You mean the right hand?
No, the left hand. Haha! She's got a disco ball, for some reason, next to a plant. She has pictures on the wall here. So what do we got? We've got a woman in a lab coat with an animal. We've got an old black and white picture. We've got a carton of eggs, a beach, a line of people. This gives me no information.
Nope. So what's the plot?
Okay, so I gotta go off the name.
Well, the picture gives you information.
Well, yeah, she's writing. So there's obviously, and it says to all the boys I love. Obviously that's a to whom it may concern, but that'd be a really dumb name for a book. I'm gonna go with, she's trying to figure out who she is in this world. And to do that, she has to think back to all of her previous relationships and then write letters to them, but not really, because this is a notebook and not a pen and paper and an envelope. And write fake letters to them explaining why she is who she is because of them. And she likes disco balls.
I'm going to give you that one because it's actually really, really close. So you get a point for that one. That was a lot closer than I thought you were going to get just based off of this cover.
There is no information on that cover.
No. She has wrote letters to guys she's had crushes on, people that she's loved in the past growing up, and she stuck them into a hat box. One day these letters get sent...
Is there a hat still in the hat box?
Focus. One day these letters get sent out to the boys that she wrote them to, and she has to deal with the consequences.
How?
That is something that is spoilery.
Oh. Spoiler alert! You can tell me off camera.
Okay. But it ends up going out and she has to deal with consequences, and she ends up forming a fake relationship with a guy that she doesn't really care for all that much to try and play off the letters of the people who were thinking that.
So she's like, haha, it's
him.
just a joke.
Yeah, and then she ends up falling in love with the guy that she's faking the relationship with, and it's a very complicated, weird contemporary, but it's really cute.
Gotcha.
So you did really
And there's
well.
a sequel where she becomes a zombie robot.
No.
Yeah, so we're tied. 1.5 to 1.5.
Yeah, that works.
You
You just gave me 0.5, you could have just let that go, but...
Yeah, but I love you, so...
Aw. The next book is Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This is my favorite Rainbow Rowell book, so the fact that you don't know anything about it is upsetting.
I know that you bought it at a Goodwill for next to nothing when you couldn't find it anywhere.
Yes.
Done. That's the plot of the book. So we have author's name. Mm-hmm. Doesn't give me any information.
You know a little bit about her.
I know she wrote other books. We have...
This was her first.
We have Attach, Paperclip, Mints, but not like the kind you eat. A novel. Just in case you were confused with a sandwich like the other person did when they tried to devour the book. If attachments were an email, I'd be forwarding it to my entire list of contacts. And then we have chairs. 2 of them, but they're not the same. One is obviously broken because they'd be sitting at a weird angle, and the other one looks very uncomfortable. That's all I got. Oh yeah, and this nice color behind it, which probably doesn't have anything to do with the book at all. Oh, and there's spine, which I can look at, supposedly. I can look at the spine.
Not that it's going to tell
There's
you
another
anything
paperclip that someone has obviously had too much fun with, and now if they try to put it back together, it's not going to hold very well. Actually, that's 2 paperclips. Yep. Okay.
What's the plot?
The plot. Okay. This one's going to be very wrong, but it's the only thing I can think of. Character name.
Uh-oh.
Took very inappropriate pictures of themselves and then accidentally forwarded it to all of their contacts.
This is where you're going.
This is where I'm going with this, yep. And then has a bunch of people with very promiscuous pictures of themselves. The end.
That's 100%. That is your final answer.
That is my final answer.
You are 100% wrong point for me. This book is one based in the 90s. I think it's 99, the main.
And Prince is just playing nonstop.
Yes.
Even though that song came out earlier.
Yes.
So, perfect.
It is about a boy named Lincoln, and he works at a office where he reads people's emails if they use bad language or aren't talking about work and stuff like that. If it gets caught by this monitoring system, it gets sent to him and he has to decide if they need to be punished and what needs to go on after that. He ends up reading emails from 2 girls, one of them named Beth. Instead of sending that they were doing something wrong and that they were using bad language in their emails and everything, he ends up getting really interested in their emails and starts reading them without telling anybody. And he ends up falling in love with Beth.
So he's a perv.
It can come across as that, but it's actually really, really sweet.
Watch out, people.
It's actually really, really sweet. But he ends up falling in love with her, but he can never tell her because that would be an invasion
Dear
of
Beth,
privacy. Yes.
I've been reading all of your emails.
Pretty much. But throughout reading her emails, she keeps talking about a guy at her office who's really cute. And he eventually decides that he's going to quit because she's in love with someone else and he's going to leave. And then he soon finds out that he was the cute guy that she kept talking about.
Aww.
And that she liked him and he liked her and they had been sort of stalking each other and not realizing it. And it's a very weird ending. It's a very weird situation.
The emails that she sent, were they just bait?
No,
Oh,
she had no idea.
She had no idea?
She had no clue.
I win.
I got the point. So that is 2.5 for me and 1.5 for you. The next book is Passenger by Alexander Bracken.
So, what do we got here? We've got a blurb.
Mm-hmm.
It says, grabs you by the heart from its opening notes and doesn't let go until the knockout blockbuster finale by Sarah J. Maas. Yep. Then we've got a nice gradient background with a nice fancy lettering that says Passenger. Mm-hmm. Then we got a city, fake city USA in a bottle that is close to the ocean or water of some sort. And then if you flip it upside down, there's a boat in a bottle.
I'm really impressed that you saw that because it took me forever to realize that was a boat.
There's a boat in the bottle, and that's it. So we've got a city, a boat, a bottle, and that's it. And obviously the word passenger, which goes along more with the boat than it does the city. I have no clue.
Make something up.
So I gotta make something up. All right.
What would you assume this is about if you saw it in a store?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with character has a ship in a bottle that character loves.
What's the character?
I don't know the person's name, so I'm just gonna call it character.
It's a girl, so just say she.
She. So she has a ship in a bottle that she thinks is really cool. Or maybe she finds it at like an antique store. She takes it home and then realizes through a series of events that it's an actual ship in the bottle with real life people and everything. And in the ship in the bottle, one of the characters has a city in the bottle. And that city is the city that the girl who owns the ship in the bottle lives in. And there's an endless loop of ships and bottles in cities.
Okay.
It's the box from Futurama idea.
Okay.
And then one of them gets knocked over and the world ends.
That's it? She does nothing, though?
Yep, she saves the world from impending doom of being sunk into the bottom of the ocean. Done.
I would like to read that book, but you're so wrong, it's not even funny. This is about a girl who is a professional violinist.
Okay,
And,
good start so far.
Oh, yeah. While she is performing, she hears this noise that stops her from performing, and she ends up having to leave, and it's like one of her biggest performances of her life.
Okay.
And she ends up having to run off, and then ends up waking up in the inside of a ship in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
And finds out that her family is an entire family of time travelers. I know, buddy. It's a tough story. And she is now in where she started off like 18-something, 17-something on the middle of a boat by herself.
Okay.
And ends up finding a guy that's helping her find her way back, and all this drama ensues, and there's romance and action, and she pretty much travels throughout time and different eras, and it's really, really cool.
Okay. So I was totally right.
Completely wrong.
Totally right.
That's another point for me. What is that, 3.5 to 1.5?
All the points for me.
3.5 to
Like
1.5.
some points for you.
Close, but flip that.
Nope.
Next book, The House by Christina Lauren. This cover's gonna give you nothing.
Yep. So we have New York Times best-selling author, and we have Masterfully Told and Wholly Original, but not wholly like a church, wholly like a hole in the ground.
Yep.
Yep. And that's from Ransom Riggs, the guy who wrote that book.
It's not a hole in the ground, by the way.
Yep.
Different holy. There's 3. That's the one that you didn't
Shut up.
choose.
Then we have the house, and they're at different angles. This one is aligned with the window attached to this house.
Yep.
And then there's this line that is kind of like pointing at the house using the word house. So obviously this book is about the house, I have deduced. Looks scary. So I'm going to go with the plot from Evil Dead at the end.
That's what you're going off of?
Yep. Done.
No. You were close. The scary sort of haunted house aspect is a yes.
The original Evil Dead, not Evil Dead 2. There's no chainsaw arms in this one.
Still, this is a story about a boy who lives in a house that has been taking care of him for as long as he can remember.
Mother house.
Pretty much. It brings him food, it cleans, it
I need to
does
move into
everything
this
for him.
house
And-
right now.
And he ends up meeting a girl and starting a relationship
house?
with her. No, outside of the house.
That'd be weird. The house brought the girl
She
and be like,
ends
here
up-
you go.
She ends up realizing that something's up with the house. And
Obviously.
he shows her, and the house is not very happy that he has found a girlfriend.
Okay, so what
Very
you're saying...
overprotective mother type.
Oh, yeah, so we've got a weird mother-in-law situation.
Kind of.
Gotcha.
So the house starts getting angry and overprotective
Yep.
and is hurting her and causing her problems and
Is she
trying to
living
keep
there?
him away from her. No,
Oh, okay.
they live in two separate things. But
Gotcha.
he's 16, 17 living by himself in this house,
Makes sense.
which is not legal.
Yeah.
So they can't let the cops find out.
Uh-huh.
And they try to make it work and deal with the house as it
I
is.
mean, how do you explain that to cops?
Right?
Yes, this house is alive. It brings me sandwiches and Nesquik.
But he doesn't know what has happened to his family. He has
Mm-hmm.
no idea anything about his parents. So yeah, that's basically it. It's a crazy house
So
that
no,
tries to keep them apart.
no Book of the Dead.
No,
Gotcha.
but it is a haunted house technically,
Gotcha. Half point.
sort
Sort of half point.
of. Last book.
Last book.
Technically, it's 3 books,
3 books.
but I'll just give you the main plot of
Gotcha.
these 3. This is Kissed by an Angel by Elizabeth Chandler.
Okay, so you've had this book as long as I've known you.
Forever, pretty much.
Like when we started dating, you had this book.
I had that book years before we started dating.
Yeah, but I didn't know you then, so I didn't know
True.
if you owned it. So we have a black background, and we have a fun colored rose. We have Kissed by an Angel, not Touched by an Angel. It's not a crappy TV show.
Different thing.
Yep. We've got Elizabeth Chandler's name. We've got the 3 names. We've got Kissed by an Angel, The Power of Love, not the Huey Lewis song. And we've got Soulmates, an unforgettable trilogy.
Even though it has 3 more books.
Trilogy. 3 plus 3.
Yep.
Done. Of romance and suspense. Suspense meaning that there's something to be suspenseful about.
Pretty much, yeah. That is
Okay.
what that means.
All right. So you think, having seen this book for the past 7 years,
You would know something.
I would
about
know a
it.
little bit about it.
You
But
know
all I know is the book that on the shelf that has the horrible spine.
It does. I beat that book up so bad. I've
All
also
right.
read it a couple of times.
All right, so there's obviously something to do with paranormal because we have Angel and not the TV show. We've got Kissed by, meaning there's romance, and love in the other book's name. And Soulmates, also indicating love. So, by that, I can deduce male angel is on Earth to watch over people and keep them safe. He's not supposed to find love because he's an angel, and angels aren't supposed to be in love. That's bad. But generic white girl catches his eye, and they fall in love. But that's not good, because you're not supposed to do that as an angel. So he gets banished from heaven and stuck on Earth. But he's not happy about that, because it's not good. And she feels bad because he chose her over being an angel and living forever. Shenanigans ensue, and that's all I've got.
That's it.
That's all I've got.
You basically described a different book I own.
Wait, which book?
That was closer to Hush Hush than it was to this. Sort
I was
of.
describing this the whole time.
Some of it, not all of it. By the end of that description, you were completely off. The whole him hating being on Earth and everything was completely off. In this book, a girl and a guy fall in love, and they start a relationship, and one day the boy dies in an accident.
Spontaneous combustion.
I'm pretty sure it was a car accident.
I'm pretty sure it was spontaneous combustion.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But he ends up dying, and becomes an angel, technically.
Okay.
And she just thinks that he died in an accident. Of course, she's having a hard time with this, but there's nothing she can do.
Okay.
But he ends up realizing that the killer that killed him was actually trying to kill her.
Oh.
And he has to find way to protect her and let her know and
Okay,
come
so
in
it's-
contact with her.
So it's the movie
kind of,
Ghost.
Kind of. He has
Okay.
to, like, show her some ways that he's there protecting
And
her and
he
showing
can't just
her.
move the
So-
mug
No,
or talk to Whoopi Goldberg.
He plays the piano at one point, and
Oh, that's not creepy.
well, she plays piano. That's one of her
That's still not
main
creepy.
things. It's one of the songs they had together. Just
It's not pottery. It's not going behind with pottery.
but he has to help her fight this evil killer who's trying to kill her.
Gotcha.
And she has to deal with the fact that she still loves him, but they can't be together because he's an angel.
Okay.
And he's only still here to complete his job of protecting her.
All the points for me.
So that's it. So I got 4.5 and you got 1.5. That's a lot more than I thought you were going to get.
More than I thought.
So I'm pretty proud of you, but I still won.
I have you, therefore I win.
Okay, now you're just making people nauseous.
Yay.
And that was the Judge a Book by its cover challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Or just lick me in the face. That's cool too.